Hello everybody and welcome back to TTTV. This is TTL F1 Commentators Corner. We haven't done one of these for a while, Andy. In fact, I think it's only our second one of the season, correct me if I'm wrong.
It's actually first one of the season.
It's first? Oh my goodness.
Because we didn't do one in Bahrain because I wasn't there, thanks work. We didn't do one last week because I wasn't feeling too great, so this is actually the first one. Yeah, alright, just blame me. My health, thanks. Goodness gracious me, you can't do anything these days. But yes, this is the first one. I think we think it's the second one because of the announcement video. I think it's maybe where we're getting mixed up because we're starting to rethink it in that way, so...
Well, Andy, you're in control of inviting people to the lobby, so make sure you are... By the way, if you do want to try and participate in Commentators Corner when we do run it, all you have to do is stay in the lobby after the race. I mean, there's space for 16 drivers... Well, not 16 drivers, 14 drivers, plus...
Let's not do that.
Let's not do that. That would be utter carnage. We wouldn't get a word in edgeways. But yeah, all you have to do is stay in the lobby after the race, and there's a chance you'll be invited to Commentators Corner. From the looks of it, Andy, we had 3 drivers. I know Troy doesn't normally make an appearance.
Yeah, I've sent them an invite anyway, but yeah.
But yeah, so we'll have 3 drivers, Recon, Leroy and Spike. Hopefully they'll join the party. I mean, Leroy's pretty adamant that he wants an interview. He's been asking after his race win, funnily enough, whether there's going to be interviews. And we're happy to say, Leroy, yes, there will. So yeah, just join the party and we'll be underway. But Andy,
invites are out.
And we have our first driver of the night then, and first driver of Commentators Corner this season. It is first time race winner and tonight's race winner, Leroy. Leroy, first race win in TTL F1 and only a 3rd race. Every finish so far for you has been a podium. You must be pretty happy with that one.
Well, yeah, obviously. It didn't look comfortable in the end with the amount of back markers I got on my way.
That's true. I mean, every time we cut to you, Leroy, it just looked like there was more hair-raising moments. Just how difficult was it to keep your cool out there?
Oh, well. I found it pretty hard because, I mean, most of the back markers got out of the way. There was just 1 or 2.
And obviously, you managed to keep it out of the wall for 39 laps at Monaco. What's your secret? What tip would you give us?
There's no real secret, it's just... I don't know how I did it. Seems like an impossible task, but...
Well, that's pretty much plain advice then. I quite like that. But yeah, first Williams win for quite a while in TTL F1. I imagine then you're going to be sharing the champagne now with Williams.
Yep.
And obviously, next race we've got now will be the French Grand Prix. So we've had 2 street circuits where the walls are nice and narrow. We then go to a track that's famed for having the walls as far away from the track as possible. Going to the French Grand Prix, are you confident?
Well, I know I have decent pace around there, so we'll just have to wait and see.
And Andy, if you want to take over, you now may.
Yeah, well, the one question I just have quickly is... On stream it looked really, really bad, but just how much did Lighty hold you up at the closing stages? Because it looked horrible on screen. Was it that bad?
It cost me about 2 seconds, so it was horrible.
Yeah. Was he defending? Because it looked like he was actually defending as if it was a position take. Was it the same for yourself from your point of view?
Yeah, same in my opinion. I was trying to do whatever I can to get him on. To get him out of the way. Well,
at least it didn't end up in heartbreak. Well done on the first trip.
Yeah, a big congratulations to Leroy then. He's taken his first race win ever in TTL F1, and that's not going to do his championship standings any harm at all, Andy. And obviously keeping it out of the walls at Monaco is no less of an achievement than any other race win around here.
No, definitely not, and it's such a tricky thing to do. We obviously joked about it post-race, pre-race, sorry, when qualifying, and we've seen a lot of front wing changes tonight, and Recon had 3 in a row, 3 stops back to back to back for front wing changes, so it shows you how easy it is to make mistakes around here. But Leroy and Lyronics were the 2 drivers that managed to keep things all clean and tidy tonight, and they take the first 2 positions quite comfortably as well.
Well, another driver joining us then in Commentators Corner is Spike. Spike, you've made it pretty clear in the past that you're not a huge fan of Monaco. You've made it pretty clear in the chat even before this race, and it looked to be a condemning race from lap 1 at the hairpin. Just talk us through that race.
Hi guys. It's just... Yeah. To be honest, it was even before the hairpin. Turn 1, I don't know what was happening. It was just a traffic jam, and everybody stopped. So, lost my front wing, or lost part of it straight away. So that was a good start. So that kind of screwed the strategy up. And then, yeah, from there, just pitted for the hards, but they just didn't work, like at all. I had no grip whatsoever. It really wasn't very enjoyable at all, to be honest. Just driving around, really, trying not to hit the wall, doing okay at it. And then later on, Jack and I, well, I don't think we actually made contact, but the game said we did. So it put me in the wall, and I think it put him in the wall as well, so a bit disappointing. Yeah,
and at the end there you tried to go for the fastest lap of the race, and then took another front wing off with you as well. 2/10, that's all it was for fastest lap, but just sum up, if you can, in just a couple of words, was this race frustrating for you? Was it a better result than you were expecting?
No, I was looking good for P3. I know obviously Jack had better pace than I did, but I knew it was very difficult to get past. So I just had to sort of stay on the track. But like I said, I don't really know what happened. I'm not going to sit here and blame him because it happens, especially at Monaco. It's a bit tight going up the hill there. I personally wouldn't go for a move, but I mean, like I said, the arrow wasn't red when my cars hit, so maybe he had more room on his screen than, I don't know, but something happened. Yeah, disappointing, because it could have been possibly P3 or even P4 if Jack had got past me. But it just wasn't very enjoyable. The front tyres just didn't work at all, until the very end with the softs, and then they worked a bit better for me, but the hards were just horrendous. They were like chewing gum. They had less grip than chewing gum, so it wasn't very enjoyable to do.
And with the Constructors' Battle, obviously it's been a little bit of a slow start for Mercedes. We've got the French Grand Prix next. Obviously, like I said before, it's a track that's famed for having the walls as far away as possible, complete opposite of Monaco. Can Mercedes bounce back at the next race?
Yes, certainly it's a totally different track. It's like a car park, isn't it? Really. I must admit, I'm not a particular fan of it either. To drive isn't too bad, but yeah, I think we'll be a bit closer. I mean, certainly didn't have the pace of most of the guys tonight, but yeah, we'll see what happens in France, and hopefully we'll be somewhere near the top again.
And I'll now hand over the microphone to you, Andy.
No, I was just wondering, can I steal your setup for Tuesday night? Because if that's your idea of a bad race, then I'm on for good stuff then. But no, I mean, I'm with you. I'm not too keen on Monaco myself. So the fact you got to the end of the race, regardless, picking some decent points is good. I'm surprised to hear you saying that about the hard compound tyres. Though, they should easily last the end of the race. I can imagine they're not having a lot of grip, but I think even after warm up, they were still just. Was it like skating on ice almost, or?
Yeah, well, I had no front end. I don't think I've ever experienced it that bad in the game before. I don't know if it's a pad thing. It could well be a pad thing. I mean, you just have to watch me go around low. If anyone that followed me through Low's hairpin through that race can just see the guard just doesn't turn for the pad at all. Just doesn't. Well, it doesn't for me on that particular setup. It could be the setup. I did work to try and neutralise the rear a bit, because obviously you don't want too much oversteer, especially because you just end up slapping the barrier and then you'll be out of the race. So maybe I went a bit too far, but I tried adjusting the brake balance. I had it at 50% all the way to the rear at one point, even with no ABS, which made it very, very tricky under braking. But that was probably the only way that I could get the front to actually bite on the hards. I didn't really know the mediums, because I'll be honest, I pitted for mediums. I think after me and Jack had made contact, and then I think I hit the wall again. I can't remember. So I think I had to pit again for softs at the end. It wasn't a particular ploy to go for fastest lap. I just had to pit again because I had yellow wing both sides. So.
Well, you got to end the race, picked up some good points, so hopefully next time out in France will be much better for you.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I don't particularly like the French Grand Prix either. It's just too open. There's no real sort of sense of, I don't know, speed, I guess, and the flow of the circuit isn't particularly brilliant, but anything's better than Monaco, to be honest.
Amen to that one, my friend.
Yeah.
Well, that will pretty much wrap it up, but thank you for talking to us, Spike, and we look forward to seeing you in France.
You're welcome.
And that pretty much will wrap it up for tonight then, so make sure you're tuning in next week for the French Grand Prix and round number 4 of TTL F1. Andy, Monaco, under the lights, well, it brought some sparks out, didn't it?
Just a few. There was also probably enough carbon fibre left on the streets of Monaco to build a completely brand new car as well. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting one. I did like it under the lights, so that was something a bit different, which is really good. And I don't think we're quite getting away yet, because look who's just jumped on.
Oh, he always arrives late, literally late to the party.
Every
but anyway,
time.
every time we wrap it up. But it is Recon who's joining us. Recon, at pole position, couldn't quite convert it. I mean, you stopped 5 times during that race.
Yeah.
Just talk us through that race from your point of view.
Let's start at qualifying. I know I had good pace, and pretty much dominating pace in qualifying. So I just wanted to I tried to get on the mediums, but I didn't want to start in P2, 3, 4 or whatever it was. I was just focusing on pole. And I thought if I start on pole, I just lost out in front. And I don't know I had to go in the end, for the softs, because Jack went a bit faster than me. So I was on pole. So beginning of the race, I was just really confident and was trying to just pull out in front. But Leroy had really good pace in the beginning, and my tires dropped off like in laps 5 or something, just down the cliff. I don't know what happened, probably temperature. And then I had to pit, then I went to neutral and the lows happened, and I just went straight on and broke my front wing, and that was my first front wing gone, and it went all downhill from then. It was then I came out of the pits. Mace tried to overtake Jack, or I don't know what happened, but I came out of the pits, he came in front of me, my front wing instantly broke. At the pit again, and then 2 cars in front of me crashed at the second to last corner. Had nowhere to go, my front wing broke again. And my front wing broke one more time, I don't know, in lap 16, because, I don't know, I hit somebody, I think I hit somebody. I don't know if it was a slow back mark or anything, or it was just my mistake. I really don't know, I don't recall. And then I was just lapping my own pace. I had pretty good pace. I overtook Leroy in the end because, I don't know, I didn't want to stick behind him because I didn't want to crash, because if I stick behind him I always lose downforce and make dumb mistakes, so I just want to have clear air. So the first move I did, I lost the back end fully because my tires were actually gone, and I was in full ERS mode and my tires spun all around. I had to overtake him again and again I had a moment, but I could catch it and just drive, and Jack was in front of me, no one was behind me because Navy internet shut off. That was unlucky for him, and I just went for fastest lap, and that nearly put me in the wall. But that was my race. It was complete chaos. It was just trying to get the car home actually.
And I do want to just revisit that incident between Jack, yourself and Maze. I can imagine a couple of expletives were said by maybe you and Maze, but to us it just looked like a racing incident. Is that a fault of the pit lane exit at this track?
Yeah, it's just it's impossible to know if someone comes out. I don't blame anyone. I don't blame Maze or Jack, because you don't look every lap that someone is coming out of the pit lane. You know, you just go like it's the race. You want to overtake or you want to defend something. And I couldn't do anything because I'm just going out of the pits, you know. I don't know if anyone's behind me or anything, and I can't stop the car. So it was just all around unlucky, and if that puts you off, you know, if you crash, if your front wing knock again, trying to get the car around, and you make just mistake after mistake, you cannot get into a rhythm, you know. That's just from the cross, but I don't blame anyone. It's just an unlucky racing incident, like you said.
Well, 5 stops at Monaco. I bet you're hoping for less stops at France. Are you looking forward to the French Grand Prix next time around?
I don't know. It's just the kind of the track that I don't play too often because I just don't like the flow. But I don't care. I just want to race. I just like racing. It's just what I like to do the most, if anything. So I'll just try my best. I know I have good pace, just need to pull it off. And you know, Monaco is just one of kind. You know, Singapore, it's also a bit different, a bit difficult, but Monaco is just almost guaranteed you make a mistake and lose a bit of front wing. Because if you do one thing, you lose control and you just steer in too quickly, or you don't steer at all, or you go into neutral like I did. It's not really a good thing to do. And you know, with that track like France, you just gonna go flat out. You know, you make a bit mistake, you get a warning, or just go off throw when you get nothing. It's just, it's those tracks are just, you know, driving your own pace and just finishing where you belong. That's pretty much it.
Well, Andy, I'll hand over the microphone to you now.
Nope, that was the most comprehensive roundup ever, and if you're ever looking for a commentating job, I'm sure we could accommodate you.
I'm sorry for that, Robin. I saw the party environment, just let's see what happens, and you were rounding off, I think.
You're usually always asking us, where's the invite, where's the invite? We invite you and you always just show up at the last minute.
My bad.
Nah, it's all good, mate.
Well, thank you for joining us, Recon, and we look forward to seeing you at the French Grand Prix.
Thank you, man. Thanks for commentating, both of you.
Watch your back, Andy. There could be someone else coming. No? Are we good?
Maybe.
Can we end the stream? I think we can.
I'm still here, it's all good.
Okay, good stuff. Well, thank you very much for watching. Make sure you do subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the bell so you're notified every time TTTV goes live. Next time we're live will be tomorrow night, actually, for TTFL. I believe Malk is back at the commentary box, so make sure you're joining him. You can follow the league on Twitter. It's at TTL_F1. You can follow me on Twitter whilst you're there as well, at KSMCGF1, and you can also follow Andy whilst you're there as well.
Indeed you can. It is Andy81287, and of course in terms of the subscribe to the channel, not far off the 300 mark, so help us out, take us up to that 300 mark, be much appreciated, show your support for the channel. And of course James will be back on Tuesday night with TTL F2, and next Wednesday we've got the first part of the latest esports mini league, and we're across 3 different tiers as well. Starting from 7 o'clock we've got 3 leagues, 15 teams for one night of action-packed racing. All kicks off at 7 with League 3, which will be commentated by James. I believe yourself, Kieran, you're doing League 2, starting at 7:45, is it?
I am indeed. Join me for League 2, and you can also join him, Andy, for League 1.
And that will be from 8:30. I think is it Belgium and Germany or something? I can't quite remember the calendar track, but yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, so make sure to join us for that next Wednesday as well.
Absolutely, and we hope to see you also next week for the French Grand Prix, and we'll see you then. Until next time, I've been Kieran McGinley.
And I've been Andy Campbell.
Take care of yourselves, and we will see you next time.